Hello and welcome to Unacademy, the one-stop solution for English medium UPSC Civil Services aspirant. A very important development, a very important news coming out of the UPSC with regards to the cutoff. This is always a very important aspect of your preparation. How much is the cutoff and generally what is the trend? Now, in this session, we'll try to understand why it is the lowest cutoff which has come in the past 10 years. And over and above that, what are the reasons for that and what is the takeaway? Please remember, if you're attempting the examination this year, you should be watching this session because you need to understand what is the takeaway. Because this creates a certain pattern and this, in a way, explains to us what is going in the mind of UPSC. But before we begin, I have two very important announcements for you. If you are again a UPSC aspirant looking for a good guided program, and more than that, Conquer Prelims, finally, we are starting it from tomorrow. So, first and foremost thing, our lowest prices possible are going right now while celebrating our toppers. We have 320 plus Unacademy learners who have come in the final list. Over and above that, 4 in the top 10 and 38 in the top 100. And with hashtag Chalo Lavazna, we are making sure that this is the biggest price drop. You can get a 12 or 15-month course at close to 30,000 rupees, which in itself is very important. A lot of our learners say that there is a certain issue of affordability. Now, when we talk about affordability itself, we are making sure that good education, good guided program, the best educators, and over and above that, a affordable program is available to you. You can analyze as many other competitors and institutes as much as possible. That is totally your prerogative. But you will realize the best educators, the exam-oriented study which we do, you will never get it at this price. So I hope that you will note this, and if you're trying to become a part of Unacademy, if you have previously thought about becoming part of Unacademy, be it English, Hindi or any other program, you have the best opportunity to join us now at the lowest price possible. After this, for anybody who is preparing for this year, finally we have Conquer Prelims starting from tomorrow. Now there are two phases here. We have phase 1 and then phase 2. Phase 1 starts from tomorrow, which will start on the Unacademy app. I've given you this very simply to tell you that there is a very important structure we've created. On the Unacademy app, which is the special sessions, we will have static crash course, which is static questions will be covered through MCQs. And from 19th April, tomorrow, Sarmat sir itself will go with the first, which is polity and polity static through MCQs in that sense. And this will be live at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Over and above that, we have subject-specific experts. I will take history, Mukesh sir will take geography, Chetan sir will take international relations, Syam sir will take economics. So therefore, we are not having one person for everybody, but the experts are taking the questions in that regard. Over and above that, this will be live on the Unacademy app. As soon as this program is in its main groove, we will also have from 1st May the current affairs crash course, but this will be on YouTube and this will be on the Unacademy app, so that we can run two major programs together, one a static program, the other one a YouTube based. This will start from 1st May and again 7:30 to 9 p.m. on YouTube, on this platform, on this app, on this channel itself, we will get this. Now, the number of classes, if you look at it, we have on the Unacademy platform 6 for static, 5 classes for current affairs. The same way, economy 8, 5, 7, 3, 7, 4, 8, 4, 8, 4, 6, 6, which is we will have close to 50 plus sessions on static. And if you count the number of questions, that becomes more than 500 questions on the Unacademy app itself. And thereafter on YouTube, we'll again cover close to 500 questions related to current affairs so that you can revise. Based on popular demand, we have been getting this question, when is Conquer Prelims starting? Yes, it is starting from tomorrow and thereafter on 1st. So please note these dates and do go on to the app, log in and get ready for this because this is coming soon. With this, let's talk about the cutoff. This is why we are here. And when we look at the cutoff, it is for general 75.41 marks. This is a shocker. Why? Because this means that if you're getting close to 40 questions correct, not even 40, 38 questions correct, you are basically, with adjusting for negative marking, you can clear the prelims examination. Adjusted for EWS 68, for OBC 74, for SC 59, for ST 47, thereafter different PW categories from 30 to 40. Now, how does this compare with last year? If you look at the cutoffs since 2013, for the past 10 years, if you look at it, from the time when basically CSAT was also added, let's ignore 2013-14, but from this point forward, 2015 onwards, when CSAT became qualifying, 100, 116, 105, 98, 98, 92, 87, 88, it increased, and now 75. 75. Most of you get these in mocks easily. Easily. We believe 100 is a good score. UPSC 75 is the cutoff. If you look at the mains, cutoff, there is also a further reduction. Though not the lowest, with 736 being the lowest in 2020, at 741, 748, 745, 751. It is hovering around that 750 marks vis-a-vis coming out of 1750. And overall, however, it has remained more or less constant in that 930 to 950 range in that regard. So this is not important for us. What is important is this. This is a game changer. This gives us an indication of a certain pattern which is emerging in the larger context of UPSC, and we should be able to note it and understand. So, first things first, 75, listen to me, 75 marks to clear prelims examination. It is not a joke. It used to be thought that when will the days come when 75 will come as the cutoff or 80 will be the cutoff. UPSC has fallen below 80. And if every question is 2 marks, if you are basically getting 38 questions correct after adjusting for negative marking out of 100 questions, that is not even 40% of the questions in that regard, you basically are getting through to write the dream paper, your dream you can achieve with 75 marks. Now, what is the takeaway here? What is the takeaway? Because that basically explains to us what is important. Now, first things first, there are two major trends which we can understand. Firstly, difficulty is deciding the cutoff. There is no doubt whatsoever that difficulty is dictating the cutoff, which is that with the examination becoming more and more difficult, there's a certain dip in the cutoff. That is true. But the real horror story is CSAT. Basically, a theory which comes into to explain this dip is CSAT. Basically, students started to take CSAT very lightly, and there's a certain overconfidence also which a lot of students have. And in the past 3 years, if you look at CSAT papers, they are becoming more and more difficult. So what UPSC has found as a solution is a very interesting thing. Rather than eliminating the students from GS paper 1, give the CSAT paper at a level which is now even CAT level and eliminate the student there only. So the fact of the matter is this 75 is because even the students who are getting 120, 130, we know the horror stories. A lot of my students did it. They are getting 130 and they didn't clear CSAT itself. This means that if you do the mathematics behind it, which you have to because you have to clear CSAT, meaning 100 plus, 90 plus, 120 plus students who may have pushed the cutoff above all failed to clear CSAT. This means that CSAT preparation, CSAT practice, and CSAT cannot be ignored generally. Further, there are two things which you should understand as a candidate who will give the examination later. First things first, you should have the ability to assess the difficulty of the examination in the exam hall. A lot of students, what they do is that they go into the exam hall, questions one after the other are very difficult, and they start to panic that I'm not able to solve the question, there's a problem. No, it is true for everybody. meaning that the paper itself has become difficult or the difficulty level is higher. Now, when the difficulty level is higher, the mantra, and remember this mantra, is how do you keep negative down? See, there will always be 40 to 45% of the questions, be it history, be it polity, be it economics, be it current affairs, 40 to 45, 50% of the paper is always moderate to easy. It is those next 50 which you have to manage so that you don't go now below at least 70, which is not very difficult to manage that way. But the takeaway for a student who is preparing for 2024 is that you should have the ability to understand if the paper is very difficult, if the paper is very easy. If it is easy, then the cutoff will go up. And that will only come by basically doing more and more mocks to have an understanding of the pattern itself. But if in the examination hall you realize that I think the paper is difficult, then don't be a hero, which is try to do as many questions as possible. Some students go and do 95 questions. While the paper was so difficult, what happens is they get 40 correct, but there's so much negative that it basically brings them down to 20, 25 questions correct in that sense. So please be very clear in understanding one thing. CSAT has played a very important role here, very simply. So for anybody who as of right now preparing for 16th June has not been practicing CSAT, understand one thing, UPSC has found it already had one knife, it has another knife now. The first knife was make the GS paper difficult. But how difficult can you make the paper? It can go from then UPSC level to net level to then academic level. The problem is UPSC can't go over a certain level. So therefore, what they're doing is that they're giving CSAT so difficult that students who are very, very bright don't clear CSAT itself. And I would encourage you to tell me the horror stories in the comment box. You can easily comment on this channel itself that what are the horror stories. There must be a lot of students who got a very good paper one, what we call a score, but thereafter paper 2 CSAT they ignored, and therein lies the problem. It's not that CSAT has become extremely difficult, like they're asking very, very difficult questions, but it is a time bound question. So even maths question to be done within 2.5 minutes, it's taking time. So for mathematical attitude, logical reasoning, and English implied inference is always a problem. And the more the questions come on assumed, it becomes very subjective to what the examiner thinks of it. So CSAT needs to be taken seriously, and you should rejoice and at the same point of time be very cautious that this trend can either go up or down. Down means CSAT would be very difficult, the paper would be very, very difficult. And up means the paper would become easy, CSAT would become easy. So somehow for the first time as UPSC aspirants, we are praying that the paper is easy and the cutoff goes up, because this shows a certain sense of what we call as changing pattern within the UPSC itself. So please note this document which has come just 15-20 minutes before, and we are here to tell you what the cutoff is. Remember, this 75.41 is testimony to the CSAT nightmare. Do not ignore CSAT. And second thing is, this means that the last year's paper was not too difficult. This only means a lot of good students got a good score, but GS paper 2 was the problem. And very simply, if you have been thinking half-hearted, if you're thinking should I not, look at the cutoff. A lot of students get disheartened by mocks. Look at the cutoff. And I think that gives you an indication that you should go for the examination. You never know what happens in the examination. So I may sound like a motivational speaker, but I would say that there is enough to indicate and say that you should take a chance. You should take a chance because 75 is manageable. You never know all the topics which you know came in the examination. That is wishful thinking, but maybe that is what is needed also at this point of time. To make sure that this 75 is met by you, I already told you that Conquer Prelims is coming. From tomorrow, I expect all of you to join us. And this time we made sure we are only solving MCQs. As many MCQs as possible, 1,000 plus we are covering in all the sessions together. That is more than enough for you to clear this examination. And as I said, we have a very, very important offer going on, under which you can get the Unacademy course for 30,000 only, $29.99. And the fact of the matter is This is to make sure that no learner is left behind. This is our philosophy. We are trying to make sure that everybody who wants to become the next IAS officer, he or she has the capacity to do that. He or she has the right guidance to do it. You are smart enough to assess who are the educators in the market. You are very, very smart to understand what is the price point. You are very, very smart to understand what is the basic ecosystem in which we are working. And I think you will come to the conclusion that when it comes to Unacademy, we have the best team, be it Hindi, be it English, or be it English, in all categories. Now, before I end this session, I again want to tell you that the takeaways are very, very important. Difficulty dictates cutoff. However, CSAT has now emerged as a new factor, which used to be very easy for engineers, which used to be very, very easy for technical students, for what we call as science students, students coming from technical background. However, now CSAT, you should never be overconfident. You have to take this seriously. I would love to know about your stories in the comment section. If you are liking this session, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And last but not the least, that if you are looking for an English program in which you get the best educators possible, from Sarmat sir to Shyam sir to Chetan sir to Hima Bindu ma'am to Mukesh sir and me, on 19th April, we are starting our new course, which is again tomorrow. And we will start with the evening batch, which is 5 p.m., which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I hope that you will also become a part of this. With this, I leave you on this slide. I leave you on this very, very miraclistic, a very unreal experience with regards to a UPSC aspirant. UPSC has given 75 as the cutoff, the lowest ever possible. Thank you so much. We'll be again here with any other update which is relevant for your preparation. For all students who are giving on 16 June, all the best. And remember, you never know, this could be 70 next year. Thank you, take care, and bye-bye.